Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be, as the mask slips, the grip of the narcissist tightens. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So this is when you were in the relationship. As that mask was slipping more and more, the grip that the narcissist had on you, it was tightening more and more. Picture like your fist. When your fist is open or your hand is open, there's nothing there. But when you close or clench your fist, you have a big grip. That's what was happening with the narcissist and you as their mask was slipping when you were in the relationship. And remember, you weren't taught Narcissism 101 in school. You didn't know what you were up against. You didn't know that narcissism was prevalent, and you didn't realize that another person who you either fell in love with or loved or cared about deeply could actually have your worst interest at heart. You didn't know that that person was envious of you. You know, they were jealous of you. You didn't know that they were manipulating you and that they were learning about you, trying to figure out what your hopes were, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, your mindset, who you were spending time with, who you weren't, your financial resources, your education, your past romantic relationships. They try to figure everything out about you and weaponize that against you at a later date. You, before you met the narcissist, you were a clean slate. You probably had a high level of empathy. You were somebody who was unaware that there was toxicity all over you, surrounding you, targeting you, and looking to take away from you and your purpose. And at the top of that list was the narcissist. So when you met the narcissist, again, in their eyes, you were a new shiny object. You were what is called the new supply. You were a person they could trick and trap and have you fall into that relationship with them, eventually going into the trauma bond. And as their mask began to slip more and more when you were in that relationship, their grip became tighter and tighter on you. And why that is, and specifically when you're in the relationship, it's because you didn't know narcissism was prevalent. You weren't taught it in school. And also it's because you were trying to fix the relationship that was unfixable. You see, you most likely moved in with the narcissist, or you married them, or you had children with them, or you relocated, or you went into business with them, or became their roommate, or joined a hobby group or something with them, or maybe you were their neighbor, who knows, but something pivotal happened. And when that happened and the narcissist sized you up, and they were watching you, how you walked, how you talked, how you carried yourself, if you were an empath, etc., as they were doing their homework and learning about you, they were trying to figure out which buttons to press, which levers to pull, and how to blow up your life. Not only your life, but your relationships, your time, your purpose, your growth, your hobbies, your business, your work, anything they could. They want to disrupt it. Remember, this is an energetic exchange with you and the narcissist, or it was. The narcissist is that low vibrational energy form. They're the darkness. You are the beautiful, bright, shining light. And they wanted to capture your light and your energy, your positivity, and everything about you. And they wanted to use that as a fuel source to catapult them from one part of their life to the next part. And they wanted to leave you holding the bag and all the toxicity that they would dump into you. They wanted you to take it on. That's why when you're in these relationships, you're being blamed for things. That's why you're being gaslit. That's why you're being ghosted. That's why you're being triangulated. That's why you are texting the narcissist when you're in these relationships and you would get nothing back. Maybe your message would be unread, or maybe you would get the letter K, or maybe you would get nothing, radio silence, or word salad. Who knows what you would get, but you wouldn't get the truth. You wouldn't get fulfillment. You wouldn't get honesty. You wouldn't get the actual reality as to who they were, what they were doing, and what they were trying to do to you. The narcissist never walked up to you and handed you that 2-page report and said, here's who I am. Here's what I've done to other people before I met you. This is what I will do with you. And when I'm finished, I will do it again to other people after I take everything I possibly can from you. They never did that, and they won't do it because the narcissist cannot be accountable. They can't introspect. They can't be honest or authentic. They are juggling multiple relationships at any one point in time. And picture a clown in a circus juggling bowling pins. Well, maybe in the beginning of the performance, the clown has 3 bowling pins. The next thing you know, there are 5, 7, 11. Mind-blowing, but maybe the clown is juggling 11 or 15 bowling pins at one time. Whatever the Guinness Book of World Records is, there is your narcissist in a clown outfit, and you were one of the bowling pins they were juggling. Yes, it's reality. I was too. Now, having said all these things, Wrapping your head around what narcissism is, that's a tough pill to swallow. Wrapping around the fact that they were wearing a mask, manipulating you, that's a whole different thing to figure out. Wrapping your head around the fact that they don't care about you, they don't care about anybody, they only care about what these people provided for them, meaning utility or opportunity, or a cover or shelter, or put a roof over their head, or pay their way through college, etc. This is what the narcissist cares about. They don't care about you as a beautiful human being, whether you are extremely intelligent, physically beautiful, both, whatever you are. They looked at your beauty within you, internally and externally outside of you, and they tried to extinguish it. That is what I call your beautiful, bright, shining light. And so as the mask tightened, or as the mask loosened, the grip of the narcissist tightened, it's because you were trying to fix a relationship that was unfixable. You were trying to put out the fires that the narcissist was starting intentionally. You were experiencing death by 1,000 paper cuts each and every day. You were losing sleep. You were being sleep deprived. You were losing your mind. Your mind was being consumed by the narcissist. You were losing your energy. Your energy was being consumed by the narcissist. Your relationships were being blown up left, right, and center because the narcissist had already administered the smear campaign, and you didn't know which direction your life was going in. But what you did know, it was being controlled by that clown in the circus, juggling multiple relationships, i.e. bowling pins. Again, when you were in the relationship, you thought it was just you. So maybe you married the narcissist. Okay, well, you still thought it was just you. Well, no, the wedding ring, or the ring on your finger when you were married, that was a license to abuse. That's how the narcissist looked at that ring. They looked at it as a way for them to blend into society, saying, yeah, I'm stable, I'm healthy, I've got a spouse that cares about me, etc. Well, that's a front, it's a cover, it's a shield, it's a beard. The narcissist behind closed doors is Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, whatever you want to call it. And to general public, they're the exact opposite. So this is what the narcissist was doing. They were juggling the relationship with you, and they're juggling multiple relationships when you were with them, whether you knew it or not. So having said all of these things, as the mask was slipping, their grip was tightening because you were committed in that relationship, and the narcissist knew it. Example, wedding vows, you took them, you meant them to death do us part and love to the end of time, or whatever the vows were. Well, the narcissist didn't take those vows in the same context you did. Did they say the words? Of course they did. But they were just looking at you, probably giving you a smirk, or probably staring at you with their eyes filled with supply, their pupils beach ball dilated, because they now knew that they had you. They knew that their work before you tied the knot was paying off, and they now knew that they had an audience to perform for. So once the kiss on the cheek or the lips happens, and you may kiss the bride or kiss the spouse, whatever it is these days, now the narcissist said, yep, I now have them, and I have an audience that I'm performing for, and everyone's watching me. Everyone sees me, but no one knows the mask. Maybe my immediate family knows the mask, but the others don't. And everyone knows that I'm a loving, kind, stable, healthy person, and this person cares about me, so it's validating me. Well, no, the first parts are true. The last part wasn't true, because if you married the narcissist, you now know that they abused you from the minute that wedding ring was on your finger. They actually abused you the minute they met you, if they love bombed you, because they're not authentic. They want to go any which way the wind blows. And once they see a clean slate, or a person who isn't aware about narcissism, and someone who they can manipulate and take advantage of, and that was me, and unfortunately probably was you, then they put all of their target energy into it. They focus on that because they know that person has something that they don't have, and they want to use that as a catalyst, use it as fuel. And as they're doing that, and as the target, again, it was you, as that target is falling deeper, deeper into the relationship, whether they fell in love with them or not, maybe it was business, maybe it was roommates, whatever. But as the target was falling deeper into the relationship, they were seeing the mask of the narcissist slip more and more and more, specifically behind closed doors, or in moving cars, or on the phone, or texting. As the mask was slipping, the person who was you was trying to fix the relationship. You couldn't fix it because the narcissist doesn't want it fixed. The narcissist was toying with you like a cat and a mouse. The narcissist was watching your life implode because they had lit the ignition, they had lit the fuse of your life to implode. The narcissist was driving wedges between you and your relationships, you and your time, you and your health, your hobbies, you and your purpose, you and your sleep, you and your children or stepchildren, you and your bank account, because they had done this before and they did it with you. And they were fine-tuning their skills of manipulation and destruction and keeping people stuck in the trauma bond with you. They did it until they didn't have to do it any longer. And when they didn't have to do it, that's when the mask officially slipped. Now, again, you weren't taught this in school. So when the mask slipped, let's say you were discarded. If you were, or you ended it, either way, my heart goes out to you. But say you were discarded. Well, the narcissist was banking on you never figuring out what narcissism was. They were banking on leaving you crumbled up like a sheet of paper, thrown away in the freeway, never ever to be heard from again, because they thought they extinguished you and your beautiful, bright, shining light. But that's not what happened. You see, you are resilient. You are courageous. You're strong. You found the needle in the haystack. You cracked the code and understood, or are understanding, what narcissism is. That's why you're unique. That's why the narcissist couldn't knock you out. And they took mighty blows, mighty swings, uppercuts left, right, and center, knockout punches, but they couldn't knock you out for the count because you are here. Now, having said all those things, this is why these relationships are unstable. This is why these relationships benefit one person, which is the narcissist. It wasn't you. It will never be you, and it won't be the new supply, which is why these relationships head to one destination, which is called Destructionsville, because each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. You are learning that, or you've learned it. And the new supplies relationship is no different. You may think, no, the new supply and the narcissist are living their best life. They're taking pictures on cruises and taking pictures on yachts, and they're going skiing, and they're spending all this beautiful time together and all the filters, and it's amazing, and they're all over social media. Well, first of all, my hope is you shouldn't be looking at those pictures, but if you are, I understand you will, until it stings so much that you won't any longer watch those pictures. But second of all, remember, the narcissist wants to paint a picture of a non-real reality, a bogus reality. And they use filters, they use flying monkeys, they use social media, they'll use places that they've never even been to before, claiming they were there. They'll use whatever they can to make it appear like they're living their best life. And that is meant to do a few things. One, it's meant to keep the new supply stuck and trapped, because the new supply is believing in the mask just like you are. And two, it's meant to hurt you, or hurt someone who just got discarded, or who just ended the relationship, because that person probably is still in the trauma bond, or still trying to figure out what the narcissistic relationship was, and how that person never loved them, never cared about them, and doesn't care about the new supply. You see, it does multifaceted things at any one time. That's why the less you know about the narcissist, the better off you are. The less you know, the stronger you get. The less you know, the more you heal. And the less the narcissist knows about you, the stronger you get. And the less the narcissist knows about you or what you're doing, the better off you are. That's why you must maintain your boundaries. You must go no contact, block these people, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you understand that you were in a toxic narcissistic relationship, or maybe you are in one, and you have the ability to remove yourself, I strongly suggest you do so when you are ready, and the sooner the better. That's why so many of us have had to create, develop, and get ready and prepare to execute our exit plans. And I've helped so many people do that over the years. And I had to create, develop, and execute my own exit plan. All of these things encompass the healing path. This is the relationship you will need to heal from. You will need to put yourself back together, minute by minute, day by day, hour by hour, sometimes second by second, on the healing path. The narcissist has nothing to heal from, because inside of them there's nothing but shallowness, nothing but bitterness, nothing but toxicity, nothing but a vast wasteland, nothing but a huge void. And in that void, which is pitch black and dark, they want to capture someone's beautiful, bright, shining light and use that as a fuel source to catapult them to the next leg of their life. And that's what they did. So as the mask was slipping when you were in the relationship, the grip of the narcissist was tightening, because you didn't know what you know now. And you were loyal and committed, and you were an open book, and you were telling them, hey, let's work on this relationship. Hey, let's have an adult conversation. Hey, you don't have to act that way. Let's just talk like adults and figure out what's going on. Why are you treating me this way? I didn't sign up for this. I can't believe you're acting this way. And who is this person in our house? And why is your phone being blown up at 11 o'clock at night when I'm trying to sleep? And why aren't you answering my texts throughout the day when I'm stuck at work? And why is it every time I cook dinner at night, it's 7 o'clock and you're supposed to be home at 7 o'clock? You're not home till 10 or 10:30. Sometimes you don't come home at all. I don't get it. What's happening? And why are you using all my money? Why are we using all my money to pay the bills, the mortgage, the rent, the cars? And why am I having to dress like I'm part of some kind of sideshow act? I don't even like the clothes I'm wearing. I don't even like my haircut. Why did you change my whole look? All of these things encompass what the narcissist did to you. They were the puppet master controlling you, slowly, insidiously destroying you and your life, you and your purpose, you and your mindset, and you and your identity. That's why when you're in these relationships, you become a shell of yourself. You lose your sense of self, you lose your identity to the narcissist, and you do whatever they want you to do whenever they want you to do it, because if you do it, then you're gonna continue to stay in that relationship of abuse one more day longer. If you don't, well, they're gonna abuse you quicker, and they're gonna look for your replacement, which is going to happen anyway. Nobody is safe in the narcissistic relationship. You're not, I wasn't, nobody is, because the narcissist doesn't care about people. They only care about what people provide for them. And that many times is adoration, it's money, it's time, it's affection, it's caring, it's being there for them, it's being a sounding board, it's being the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the cook, the cleaner, the pool boy. It's doing anything you can. But when you are living someone else's life and you're not living your life, you're in a very vulnerable, precarious, life-threatening situation or relationship. Again, you didn't know what you know now. Now you do know that the mask was slipping from the minute you met them until that relationship ended. And the more the mask was slipping when you were in that relationship, the tighter the grip the narcissist had on you, because you were who you were, an open book, and you were committed, you were devoted, you had a high level of empathy, etc. And the narcissist knew all of this. That's why once you told them who you were, meaning, hey, yeah, I was out of this relationship, or my parents passed, or I just relocated here, I just started a business, or I just inherited money, whatever you did, all they were doing was sitting back and thinking, wow, how can I get that? Wow, you have that, that should be mine. You have that too? I've been wanting that for 5 years. You have that as well? How am I gonna get that from you? And then they super glued a mask on their face and they showed you whatever they could show you to get you to fall back into line or fall in the relationship with them. And once they got you super close to them and you told them you loved them, or you moved in or married them or had kids, etc., and they pulled back. Eventually that mask slipped over and over and over again, and you were making excuses more and more and more for the narcissist, and nobody ever saw what was going on, because it usually happens in moving cars or in the household when you're enclosed with the narcissist. And then what happens? Well, you go to work the next day after experiencing a weekend of toxicity, of being gaslit, of maybe being given the silent treatment, verbal abuse, and smashing cabinets and cupboards, etc., and you act like everything's fine. And then you go home Monday night and here we go again. And then it rolls into Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe Thursday you have a mini love bomb, or a little bit of normalcy, if you will, little calmness, and you're like, wow, it's not that bad, and the weekend's coming up, this is gonna be great. And then Friday's okay, and then Saturday's, it's okay, but they're gone for most of the day. Next thing you know, Sunday rolls around, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're working on 3.5 or 4 days. I can't believe this. This could be a new record. And then, boom, just like that, you go backwards, because the narcissist has to punish you for being you, because they can't maintain the mask any longer. And they knew that they had you in that deep end of destruction, that cesspool of manipulation and the trauma bond. So they couldn't maintain the mask. They didn't want to maintain it, but they wanted you holding on, thinking you could fix or save the relationship or save the marriage, whatever you were in, however you were engulfed with the narcissist. And they knew this. So having said all of these things, no narcissistic relationship, not one of them is sustainable. They all have an expiration date. They all end. The partner or the person who isn't the narcissist, if the non-partner or if the person that the narcissist was in the relationship isn't toxic themselves, those people, which was me and probably was you, we have to heal from these relationships. We have to slow our lives down, process things, watch videos, meditate, journal, write, heal childhood wounds, etc. We have a long road ahead of us until we heal. The narcissist does nothing other than slither away off into the low vibrational quagmire state, to the pitch blackness of the empty void that is within them, searching for a new supply in the shadows, searching for the new supply in the darkness, and searching for someone to entangle themselves with a new relationship or a recycled relationship. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. And realize this was when you were in the relationship. As the mask was slipping, the grip of the narcissist was tightening, because it was. And that grip got so tight that eventually you either removed yourself, or you experienced reactive abuse, or you were discarded, or whatever happened, but something gave, something broke, something snapped, and that relationship ended. And when it did, you had to put yourself back together. The narcissist had nothing to put themselves back together. Fast forward, the relationship has been over, say it's been over for a few years or whatever, and you've healed properly. Well, you no longer have any grip of the narcissist on you at all, not even one millionth of a percent. And you can see behind the mask. So now you understand that it was nothing but a person manipulating you, a person playing mental jujitsu, a person controlling your mind, your thoughts, your actions, and the direction of your life. But when you were in the relationship, you couldn't see that. You didn't have clarity. You didn't know what you know now. But post-relationship, when you've healed, you can see everything perfectly, crystal clearly. Oh, that's what that meant. That's who that person was. That's why they got a flat tire, wink, wink, allegedly, on a Friday night. I didn't see them until Sunday. Oh, that's the seminar they were at. Oh, that's the phantom phone call that was calling. That's the people that were spying on me. Oh, that's why they were only showing me their smartphone when they wanted me to see what they wanted to see. The other times they would hide it or turn it down. You see, the narcissist knows what they're doing, and they will show glimpses of who they are throughout the whole relationship, but you never were supposed to figure it out. But you did. Now you can put the pieces of the puzzle together rather easily, very quickly, and now you realize that having your boundaries is the path, going no contact is the path, and leaving these people in the past is the solution. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.